Of course, the moment I try and video this, it doesn't really show up, but there's actually quite a lot of flex in this panel, and it's actually really annoying to try and plug stuff into. The case is quite light, so it does slide around really easily. Basically, if I'm trying to plug any USB device in, I have to hold the other side of the case in order to make it go in, and even then, like, the panel flexes. Can't really show it to you one-handed. What else? Other things to bitch about. Let me pull that off. Okay, so fans. Firstly, Gamers Nexus have done this to death, but this mesh thing, there aren't a lot of holes in it, and that's actually not the end of the world, except the fan is right up against it. So all of this is creating loads and loads of turbulence as, you know, the air goes through this tiny hole and then immediately gets whipped around. I don't know, if there was, I think if I set something up with fan shrouds to, like, just set the fans back a bit, or even if it was a radiator and then fans in a pull configuration, that might work quite a lot nicer. But it's not great. Other things, so they have these bits here where that's where you're kind of like, I don't know, supposed to be the preferred fan mounts or something. Those holes are too fucking small. And then you have, so the idea is that you can put a 120mm fan in basically any position, which sort of gives you enough rope to hang yourself with in terms of getting them lined up. But so for 140s you have a limited set of holes, which means you don't get any choice about how you set them up, so that's irksome. Side panel, that's acrylic, not great. So the rear fan's alright. You've got a much nicer mesh there, much more holes in it. It's a very quiet fan, it's very low RPM, so it's not quiet because of the design, it's quiet because it's low RPM, but still. So that's running full speed. So looking at the top, one of the things that's really important to me in a case is the ability to get this fucker to actually overlap the motherboard a bit. So I'm just trying to take the side panel off. That's another complaint that I have about this fucking case, is the side panel is a pain in the ass to get off because it's 4 screws. It looks as if it's tempered glass. It's not, it's acrylic. So there's 4 screws and then it falls off. I'm not going to be able to get it back on one-handed. So you can see it's sort of, it doesn't really overlap the motherboard the way I'd like it to. But it's sort of, it's very close to the motherboard, so that's alright. It's a small case. It's supposed to be a small case. They haven't put loads of space in the top. I understand. Cable management wise, I mean, I am not a cable management-y sort of person, and also I've got a random, like, couple of cables there for connecting an SSD up. But if you ignore those, like, I think for me, by my standards, it's not bad. This is fucking annoying. The fact that, like, you have about a mile between the only place you can route the 24-pin and the actual motherboard. I know my board's a bit narrower, but if it was full width, it would only go to just there, and it's still miles away. But you've got a lot of space for cable management back there. So it could be worse. There is space for a bottom fan, that's nice, I guess. I haven't got one What else? So you could take these feet up and the little rubber thingies that hold the mesh on up and actually put them on the top or something else instead. And this is part of what Cooler Master are trying to do, is kind of make the case do everything for everyone. Problem with that, at least for the 300L, is this power supply has a weight. You know, it's a non-zero weight, it's kind of heavy. There's no fucking bracket. There's no, like, metal tab for it to put its weight on. So you have to have it at the bottom, or on its side, I suppose. They do actually, one of the things that they do, I don't know why I just turned the light off, because I need it back on now. So these, I didn't realise this at first, these are screws. They're really bloody annoying, because the screw inside there, it's just a rubber thing around it. So it's not, it looks like a thumb screw, it's not a thumb screw. You need to use a Phillips screwdriver to actually turn it. But these are supposed to be feet. So you can have it on its side, and, you know, I guess. PCIe slot bracket. Kind of a nice cover, but also really, really annoying in many ways. Because actually, dealing with this cover, the cover is optional, but I don't know. It doesn't make much difference. It's annoying to put the cover on, you don't have to put the cover on. This is a bit weird. They kind of recessed the power supply. They have a little power supply bracket thingy that it screws onto, and then that screws onto the case. I assume these screws are SFX, but I don't think they actually have appropriate, like, supports for an SFX power supply, so it would just be hanging off the screws. So thanks, Cooler Master, for that. And the reason they've done it is so that they can have this angle just here, which, okay, sure. It's a bit weird. It's fine with this power supply, but so this power supply comes with a metal bracket that slots in there and there. And it's supposed to fold down and, like, keep the power cable in. That, obviously, you can see there. There's no room for that. That doesn't fit. So I've had to lose that. So not ideal. Not the worst thing ever. What else can I say about this fucker? It's fine. It's a case. It looks alright. It's annoying. It's flimsy as all hell. That supposedly you can relocate that, by the way. You can put it up there. It will be flimsy just there as well. Yeah, I think that's about it, really. It's it's alright, I don't know. I'm still talking, and I guess it's just because I just have really mixed feelings about it. It kind of, I wanted it to be good, and it's not. I don't feel as if it's been good. It just kind of is. You know? That doesn't make any sense. I'm going to stop recording now.